Hello, Hendrickson. For today's topic lesson, I'm going to be talking about safe food storage and expiry dates. So first of all, storage. Storage. Now, storage is where we keep things. So we're going to be talking about where we need to keep our food. And expiry date. Expiry date. Now, I'm going to tell you what that means a little bit later. So, here we go. There are many different places that food can be stored inside your house. Now, maybe you could go into your kitchen in a minute and have a look at where your mums or dads keep all the food. One place in the top corner is the fridge. Fridge. Now, the fridge is a nice cold place and it keeps things in there like milk and butter and yogurts and things like that. So that is our fridge. The other one in the other top corner is our freezer. Freezer. Now, the freezer is a lot colder than the fridge. We looked at it the other day, didn't we? And that is where things get frozen with all the ice and it keeps them nice and cold. So that one is the freezer. Okay. Then underneath the fridge down there, we have what's called airtight containers. Airtight containers. Now, these containers keep the air out because the air helps the food to go off and we don't want the air to get in. So we put them in tubs or in containers so the air can't get in and it keeps them safe for longer. So those are called airtight containers. And lastly, in the other corner, we have jars. Jars. Now, some people use jars, some people don't in their own home to put food in, but you get lots of jars at the supermarket. You could get a jar of peanut butter or you could get a jar of jam. Now, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pause the video and go and have a look in your kitchen to see if you can find the fridge, the freezer. See if your mums and dads use any airtight containers and see if they've got any jars. Off you go. Okay, did you find them? Fantastic. Make sure to take a picture and put it on tapestry for me. Right, there's also, we could have a cool, dark cupboard. Now this is normally where I keep all my sauces and things like that. A cool, dark cupboard. In that cupboard, we have lots of tins and cans and things like that. Now you get tins of baked beans. You also get some peach slices and some people have soup in there as well. And lastly, you keep things in a bowl. Bowl. Most people would keep some fruit in a bowl somewhere. Now, just like you did a minute ago, I would like you to get up and have a look with your mums and dads to see if you have a cool, dark cupboard where they might keep some tins and cans in. And can you see if there's any bowls with some food in as well? Pause the video now. Off you go. Okay. Did you find them? Make sure again to take another picture and put them on tapestry. Okay. I've got a challenge for you. I've got 3 pieces of food here. I've got some milk, there's some ice cream, and there's some bread. Now, I'd like you to have a think. Where do you keep them in your house? Where do you keep them in your house? Have you had a guess? Shall we find out where we should keep them? Here we go. First of all, ice cream. We need to keep ice cream in the freezer because it keeps it nice and cold. Because if the ice cream isn't kept in the freezer and it gets warm, what's going to happen to it? Yeah, you're right. It's going to melt away. Ugh. And then it won't be ice cream anymore, will it? So you need to keep ice cream in the freezer. Okay, so that's ice cream. Milk. Yeah, milk needs to be kept in the fridge. It needs to be kept nice and cold, not as cold as the freezer, although you can keep milk in the freezer, but then it'll turn to ice. But you need to keep your milk in the fridge, okay? Then it stays fresh and it is safe to drink. Now, we know that it's safe to drink because on the top of it, it has an expiry date. Expiry date. Now, this one on here says best by Mar 10. Mar 10. That means that it's best before March the 10th. Okay? Now, if you have some milk like this at home, I would like you to have a look and see if it's got an expiry date on and try and work out how many days left you've got to drink it before it will start going bad. That's why we have the expiry dates, because if you try and drink it after the expiry date, the milk might have gone bad and then it might give you an upset tummy, and we don't want that, do we? So the milk is kept in the fridge and it has an expiry date, and you should eat it, or drink it rather, before the end of that date. Okay, the bread. Where do you think we keep the bread? Yeah, bread are normally kept in an airtight bag. Okay, so when you get it at the shops, most of them will be in a bag just like this. It also has an expiry date on. So you need to make sure that you eat your bread before that date. Now, can you see if you've got any milk with an expiry date, any bread with an expiry date? And have a sneaky look and see if you've got any ice cream, and make sure it's in the freezer. Pause the video again and go and have a look. If you haven't got any of those things, you can look for other things around. Maybe your mums and dads can help you that have an expiry date on as well, and work out how much longer you have to eat or drink it. Right. Now it's time for an experiment. Okay, so I would like you to have a think. What do you think will happen if you store food in the wrong place? What do you think will happen to the food? I'd like you to either share a video of you telling me what you think will happen, or if you can, I'd like you to write it down. Maybe you can draw a picture of what you think is going to happen to it. Okay, now we're not just going to have a guess. We are going to do an actual experiment. So here's what we need for this. You need a piece of bread and a plate. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put the piece of bread on the plate, and I am going to put it on my windowsill. What do you think is going to happen to this piece of bread when I leave it on the windowsill? I wonder. We're going to find out. Can you do the same at home? Can you get a piece of bread or something similar, put it on a plate, and then leave it on the side somewhere? Make sure that none of your pets can get to it, and make sure none of your brothers or sisters can eat it either. Maybe it'd be a good idea to put a sign next to it to say, "Do not touch my experiment." And then later on, we are going to come back and have a look at what has happened to this piece of bread. Don't forget to put all your work up on Tapestry for me to see, including your experiment. Remember to have a think about what you think is going to happen and tell me in a video, or write it down for me. I look forward to seeing it there.